Monday morning, a little bit of coffee. I am Zen, you are over there. Thought we might talk about contrived culture and corpses in both the zombie fashion and the corporations' corpses. And we'll talk about, the my dad will beat your dad up kind of thing. And we'll talk about a little bit of perhaps scientism, as per usual. A little bit of religious ideologies within what is people believe as science. But yet, that's a major thing. Um, it's a major thing people have. They like to put a little title up there and stand behind it, and not even. I don't know that anybody that goes, "Oh, science," and put quotes around it. I don't know anybody that is actually practicing the method, what science means. They just go, "Oh, that's science." No. Half the time they're just talking about engineering something. Okay, they engineered something. That doesn't mean it's like science. So many things. The it's like resting on a past generation without even qualifying whether or not the knowledge is good. Nobody really. They're just like, well, my my dad's smart. My dad's smarter than yours, and then they live on that. Same reason. Same thing. This is culture across the board. Same reason that people grow up in a Christian household. They grow up and they're Christian. They're Jewish. They're Jewish. They take on the religious dogmatic ideologies of the people that are, because that's what they taught me, and they'll just stick in that, and that goes with scientific knowledge too, which becomes scientism because half of it's not verified. We live in this culture that's so contrived, conflated to the point of homogenization of ideas that nobody's doing any thinking. So they are corpses. We're living in the dead world amongst dead entities and people that don't use the only thing they have, which is their mind, to do science, to do the thinking, to qualify and verify whether or not something is good and healthy and wholesome for themselves or for another generation or for the people around them, for society at large. No, nobody. Everybody's like, oh, they already figured that out, and then we stick to it. And how many generations deep are we into sticking to things from what some people would say on the other side is the sins of our father, right? The confusion that we've been given, and we're encapsulated and trapped within the ghosts of our past, the ghosts of ideas, and most of them are literally so faulty that they are ghosts. They're what they had. Somehow they have a stranglehold on people. Verb God, yeah. Um, it has a grip it's grappling with people in society. It grasps onto and latches to people to the point that they are they always harken back to some earlier ideas that aren't really functioning or facilitating anything good or quality in what we see today. And a lot of times it's the my dad will beat your dad up. My I know somebody that's a doctor. They're not a bad person. But who cares? Good. I'm glad they're a good person. I know all sorts of people that are good people that have jobs and they're a part of things that are not um, helpful to your community, your city, your state, your world, or anybody for that matter. And they continually in they invest their time and energy into doing things that are at best just spinning the wheels of life, at the worst they're not even lubricating the wheels, and it's a jamming up the function of moving anything forward. It's just as as we look around and see it appears that it's like a car on ice. It's not We're not going anywhere, or nothing's happened. Nothing seems to be advancing in society. And in fact, as those tires are spinning, it seems like it's melting the ice. It's like the arrogance that is tied to the ignorances of people. I mean, there's so many big ones that we can point to. So many big ideas that we can point to and say, well, people won't even entertain the idea, and it's not only it's laughable to them, to the point that they'll snicker and laugh, but they can't use their mind to wrap their head around why. Like, let's for instance use the idea, the shape of the realm that we live on, whether it's a ball or flat or concave or square, or maybe it's a waffle, or who cares is what they say, but they do care. They care to listen to what they've already been told. If you say, hey, let's have a reasonable, rational dialogue, debate, and let's use our senses to figure something out, and we can come to a couple conclusions, they won't do that. They're too stuck into dogmatic, religious scientism of past generations that have been popularized, and they can't even see through the fact that popularized culture is not your friend, and it has never been. They can point to it and say, oh yeah, of course the government's full of shit. Of course pharmaceutical companies have not been out for your benefit. Of course they're making money. Of course they're getting sued over, like, poisoning and da-da-da. Whether or not it's on purpose or not is irrelevant. But we can certainly see so many things are, it's for profit, profiteering, making money, leveraging things. We can see that, but then you go, okay, well, you don't think that applies to everything? And then once it gets into something that they hold as a golden, the golden calf, they won't touch it. They won't even look at it. They'll say there's no way we were led astray on that. Why would they lie? Why would they lie? Well, I don't know. Why would anybody lie? If you could lie, and it would make you $1 million, and there was nothing would come of it. You would just make $1 million, and you would do it. Oh, of course you would. So what do you think? There's no leveraging of power and money and people lying? Of course there's. I mean, there's also, oddly enough, and being honest, there is power as well. It's just not, if you were fully honest, then you'd have to go, well, usury is not okay, inflation's not okay, income tax is definitely not okay, it's theft. You'd have to be honest about that, which gets in the way of lies ever having power. So, of course, there's lying with statistics. There's books written on it. Of course, there's all of bullshittery. It's the art of bullshit, and it's everywhere. There's a book called Assholes. I have it on the shelf. Great book. Talks all about this. So the fact that exists, how don't people see that it isn't just reserved for what you want it to, but it literally has, it's pernicious. It has made its tentacles, and it's weaved its way into every sect of society and parts of culture, and every business that you could even imagine. That there's no 100% light of the world business that is like, hey, we're here for your benefit, and all we want to do is give the, and across the board, it's not going to happen. The only way you'll get close, and I remind people this, the only way you'll get close in the business world to anything that's could be a good better than 50%, like goodness, is if it's a non-profit or not for profit. And even and then those are disguised sometimes. So people, oh well, it's a it's they're giving money to, it's a charity. Charities are nonsense most of the time. But if you had a business that was a non-profit or not for profit, oftentimes you can, those tend to be in a way, tend to, although you can use those as, if you got 5 corporations, you can use that as a, to, make things look shiny for everything else. But nonetheless, to really think that everything that's plated up for you and hand it to you in a book, because here's a book or a plate of food or this or that it's all good and healthy and grand and wonderful, that's a degree of ignorance that is unbelievable. And then to, whenever somebody points it out, to laugh and go, oh no, not over here though, not not according to, because they're rocking out the emblem. You see these people wearing like the NASA gear. You see they buy their products. Like I thought that was a government corporation that was supposed to be building things to advance society. Why are you buying their product? What is it? Is it a business? Do you not understand what's going on here? What are they giving you? What did they ever? Just a question. If anybody has a good answer, I'd like to know. They went to the moon. What did they ever bring society other than a mattress? Remember you got the NASA mattresses from back in the day, or a pair of moon boots? I mean, I don't know they got you some products that what is it? What of all the tax money that's gone into these that corporation? I mean, how many times in every business you can see where, oh, that they were bullshitting about that, oh, that wasn't the best quality, oh, they bought that because it was cheaper because it came from blood diamonds, and it came from China, and it's slave labor, and Nike, and all these corporations, but we're supposed to just go, well, they're, yeah, but they're good now. How to this is what we're to believe. So yes, yeah, there's the moon there. We flew out there 50 years ago. For what? What did we get? What was our price for all of this? Because it was your tax money, right? Isn't that how that worked? Well, welcome. A few minutes in the show. It's Sunday morning. I'm gonna go grab a refill on this. I'll be right back. Just give me a moment. I'm just gonna fill up this cup here. You guys like? This was a gift from somebody. Pretty fresh, huh? So I'll be right back. Give me a moment. Well, there we are. I'm back. So we'll get into living in the dream, the matrix, the incepted culture, and if we do live inside of some sort of system, some sort of program, some sort of, I don't know, whatever it is. I mean, obviously there's some controlling mechanisms. There's some people that are controlling the ebb and flow of aspects of society, right? Like, what is outside of the system? What is, if you build something, you have to be outside of it to build the thing on the inside. So what's outside of whatever the system is? That's a very important question I think people should consider. Some people say it's God. Well, then there is an outside, you know? And if we live inside of a closed, you know, a dome or whatever, then there's something outside of that. You wouldn't need to put a dome if there wasn't something outside of the dome to encase something in. It only makes sense. So people are like, there is no outer space. Well, then there's no inner space to your brain because you don't have one. Because if you haven't, here's your dome, there's my brain inside of it, and then there's this stuff out here, and there's a wall over there. Imagine that. For there to be an above, there's a below. For there's an inside, there's an outside. And we would consider what's outside of it. What are the influencing factors of civilization? What are the influencing factors of you? Make it simpler. What influences you? What are your desires? Desires are influences. Fears are influences. Hungers, and that's kind of in the realm of your desires. Addictions. Cold and warmth. Comforts. Some people, exploration is something that keeps people motivated, and that's something that's expands people. Some people like reading. Some people like meditation. There's all sorts of little things that are influencing this culture. You personally, what influences you? And you'd have to realize the things that influence you don't necessarily influence everybody else. Like, people say they're not influenced by money, but there is a point that, you know, when everybody has a price kind of thing, you know, there is in there a little bit of truth. Like, there, you know, some people, you know, there's no amount of money for you to go like chop your baby's head off. Like, you know what I mean? There's, you know, somebody like, I'll give you $1 trillion. You know, somebody like, no, it's just not. There wouldn't be something that anybody would do. And maybe some people. There'll be some psychopaths out there. See, that's the point. Is there might be some psychopaths. I'm sure there are. Let's get back to this. So, the larger strokes of the larger mechanisms and gears that are navigating this space and time, and how France works, how the United States works, how Canada works, how your local environment, like there's influences on the progress or lack thereof or degradation. And I would say there's a lot of things that we could see in culture right now that are degrading. There's a lot of aspects of interpersonal and interpersonal types of relationships we have with things, and physical objects. There's human relationships, and there's relationships with artificial, you'd say, intelligence, computers. There's all sorts of things that there's ebbs and flows, and there's larger influences on how those are occurring. Watch that TV thing. You got the commercials. You got the hypnosis of why this is good, and they give you nothing of. It's like when the television tells you, "Oh, this product's good," you can be certain, why else? What else would they say? Oh, here our product sucks. And so most people know that, and so they're, well, they're probably overstating how good it is. You should consider it. Like maybe there's probably something not so great about it. But when your mom or dad, oh, they're the greatest thing ever. Of course they are. You don't you find no until you're a reasonable human to you one day you wake up and you go, oh, these people are just been around longer. They're not smarter. They're not better. They have their own faults. They're not geniuses. They're not stronger. They're just as foolish as everybody else. Most people can't do that though, because they're like, oh, my dad, and so you put these. Uh, if you work in the business as if you're a nurse or a doctor, then because you're a good person, you put everybody on that plateau. Well, I'm that, and they're that, and I know this person, and you put it in that they're a teacher, they're a good person. Yeah, so what? It doesn't mean what they're doing just because they're teaching something. You teach you teach somebody something all day, but doesn't mean it's the right thing, nor is the way that they're teaching it any good. Look at coaches that coach sports and things. I've had coaches that some sucked, and our team sucked. And I've had good coaches and had good teams because we had good coaches, right? So you're a coach. That doesn't mean you're good. So you're a doctor. Doesn't mean you're good. And it still doesn't apply to the rest of your life or what you're doing. Like, so there's so many of these things that go into how people perceive a product and people and things that we tend to put on pedestals, things that we shouldn't. People are religious. They put their Saint Joseph and Saint, Jackass and this thing over here, and they're the ones, and never even met them, don't even know them. Much the same as all of these things and products and TVs that people got. They got their little mark there that says little Nike swoosh. They don't know about the factories, and they don't care. They like the fact that they paid $86 for a T-shirt. So it's like a status symbol, and it's the idol worship that we have in society. That is people like mocking themselves and they can't even see it. Like have everything else be created and then just buy it. So you buy something, just eat it up, buy it. You co-sign the insanity. when you buy your Nike sneakers that were made and you knowingly made in a factory with child labor and all this. I mean, you co-sign it. You're just like, yep, I'm all about that life, and I'm willing to overpay for it. Now, you'd think that if they're using cheap labor from another country, I mean, I don't know the truth to that. Obviously, I'm just using it as an example because it seems to be a popular notion and idea that in the past that was a thing. Wouldn't then that make the product cheaper? Shouldn't we be getting the product for not $100 for sneakers that cost 20, that should cost 20, not even really, but no, perceived because they're marketing. How much? Do you know the amount of marketing that goes into drugs, that goes into shoes, that goes into cars? The amount of money that on the sticker price is for them to tell you, to have somebody dance around and tell you something's awesome. Why not just have something that's awesome, that because it stands on its foundation and it's a good product? Why not that? Why you gotta have a bunch of cheerleaders and people dancing around telling you something? It's like that. What was the movie with what the hell was the name of it? I'm gonna trip on this. Where he's selling brake pads. David Spade and chubby dude that died. What the hell's his name? Man, tripping on it. Selling brake pads, and he's like, hey, I could take a shit in a box and mark it guaranteed, or I could just sell you good brake pads. It's that kind of thing. Why you gotta have everybody just like, is it good or not? And you'll find out. But yeah, we live in a culture that we're so impressed by people stammering and yelling and dancing about how good something is. It's like people that like boxers and things, like when they're all like, I'm the best ever. Da, da, da. And they're the ones getting knocked. They're getting knocked out. The ones that just stay humble and just walk through the whole maze. Tommy Boy, thank you. Tommy Boy was the movie. What's up, Kabar? What are you doing? What happened to you yesterday? You were supposed to come join us in our chat, in our chitty chitty bang bang. Who the hell is this? Is this who I think it is? What's up, Joe Mama? Haven't seen you in a little bit. Joe Mama, that's hilarious. Yeah, for real. Oh no, full range of motion. You know what? Maybe link up with people that are like physical therapists. Kelly Starrett, you know, full range of motion, like the whole. It's called functional movement patterns. Look up FMP, functional movement patterns, and this dude, his name is Ido Portal, IDO Portal, and he does all things. He's one of the strongest, most agile beings ever. He does all of the different animal movement patterns and things. Yeah, but people don't want to move. People are not. They're not into posturing themselves or moving the correct ways or having any mobility whatsoever because they get stuck into patterns. You had to go. Ah, it's okay. I forgive you. You're forgiven. Well, hey Joe Mama, you can I'm sure people here on my channel at least are interested in such things. Yeah, Ido Portal is a really big channel. He's big deal, and Kelly Starrett is mad big into functional movement patterns. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, there's a lot of people even through here you'd probably find, you know, that are into like Fire Drake and John Shamanic, and a lot of people in here are being into that yogic lifestyle. It's funny whenever I wear different, you know, you put different clothes on, you act different. Whenever I'm wearing normal clothes, I just act kind of normal. But if I had things on that were more fluid, like whenever I wear a tunic, I move different. It's the same way as they used to do these studies. They would have someone come in and take an IQ test, and they say, "This is what you're wearing today." And the next day, you know, a week later or whatever, they would come in and they would do a test, and they would have them wear the suit a garbage man would wear. Then they would have somebody wear a suit and tie, and then they would have somebody wear, you know, they would go through this, and then one time they would wear whatever they perceive as a doctor's you know, white thing and stethoscope, and they would find that depending on what they wore, they would have a different outcome. Their level of perceived IQ would fit right in there. That they would be smarter when they were wearing different clothes. It's like walk a mile in a man's shoes kind of thing. Yeah, it's, you know, it's really odd. Whenever I was gonna do a show on a different subject today, basically about shadow banning and things, just because it's so obvious that my channel has been, both of them, in fact. Um, that is interesting. Like it's Sunday morning for me, but then I'm aware that the people that pay attention to this, not necessarily, they don't live in this time zone. So it's always odd when people show up. It's like, oh, on my side it says there's only two people here, but yet other times it's strange when people show up. Yeah, the colors and fabrics also, that's a huge thing too. The colors are big for the energy coming in. The fabric is good for, breathing and things obviously your skin is breathing. It's an organ. It's the biggest organ you have. And so when people are wearing plasticky clothes, I think I was reading something like 70% of clothes, or 70% of all clothes, if you look across the thing, like a polyester or made of some sort of plastic, which is pretty interesting. So it's non-breathable. How healthy could that be? Here's a question that it just dawned on me. Um, if anyone's in outer space and they're in a spacesuit, and we know there's no oxygen, right? There's no oxygen in outer space, and they're in those suits. Where's the oxygen coming from? Where's it being generated from? How do you? Maybe I, obviously I'm clueless to this because I've never considered it before. How are they generating the oxygen? There's nothing outside of them to use as a generative or transmutable substance. So, like a tree takes substance in and turns into oxygen, right? We breathe in and we breathe out, and whenever we take something to create, we use something to create something else. There has to be a trade-off, right? We use chemistry to create something. So if there's nothing outside of them, where's the oxygen coming from? Where's it being generated from? And for that matter, when they're in as a bigger, they're on a space station, they're in a ship. Where's the oxygen being generated? How? Because if you're on Earth, however they're creating, if you put a box there, eventually the air, and you seal it off, that box is sealed, eventually there'll be no air in there. You would breathe it out, and it'd all become, you would die, right? So you need a way to get oxygen into it. So you would have, but if there's nothing outside of it, how is it being generated? Where is this cycle? As the people are in the spaceship, follow me here. If you're in a spaceship and you're breathing out, okay, now you just created. Where's that going? So I've just expelled all of the. Where's the oxygen coming from? Just a question. Oh, Kabar, you're in the same time zone as me. And I know I've asked you this 1,000 times. Where are you in the thing? Where are you? You're north, obviously, of here. What is your city? Oh yeah, I mean fashion. The idea of um, form over function has ruined things. Fashion is form over function. Yeah, you have to, as an engineer, you design something as functional first, and because of the function, the form will look correct, and it should, because it's working right, so it will line up naturally with what is, we view as good. But people design backwards. That that form and fashion forward over function. That functionality doesn't matter. You started making clothes because you hate clothes. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Because you wanted to, like, if that's so, if that's such a disgusting industry, but it doesn't need to be, why not fix it? Yeah, totally. I mean, that's why I rehabbed houses. That's why I built things. That's why I, you know, fix things. That's why people get into fixing things. What up? What it is? It is clever scuba tanks. Well, I mean, from that level, I understand the because they're in a pool, and I get that thing. And even at that, when they have their scuba gear on, let's use this example. Since they're not going to be able to take the water and make the oxygen out of that, although they say they can, to have a car, even though you'd have to have some other things going on there, which includes the ionization of the metallic substances. Let's just forget that for a second. But when you got your scuba gear and you got the tank on the back, eventually it's going to be empty. So in the pool, you can only last for so long. How is that? As the water is, we'll just say the water is water and there's no oxygen in there, even though you want to call it H2O, whatever. If that's the same as the outer space, because outer space isn't water, right? Even though they say above and below it's all water, whatever. Let's just say the outer space is outer space, like they say. There's no oxygen, and the water is no oxygen. So the place around them, you can only have the oxygen in that tank. Once that's gone, where's it coming from? They're not creating more. So the spaceship can only have so much oxygen on it, huh? How they up there for so long? Seems to be bullshit. Nebraska. See, like here on my side, it says there's 2 people here, yet I can clearly see that there's 3 people here. They never tell me the truth. I mean, like we know it's obviously nonsense, but when you present a question like that, the scrambling to try to come up with some answer that doesn't, it's gonna make no sense. Oh yeah, the aether. That's what they're doing. Sucking it right out the plasmic aether. Yep, that's what's happening. So what's everybody been up to? How's your morning going? This you know what I don't like? I don't like how quickly coffee gets cold. That's what I don't like. I need a cup. You know what? I do actually have a little one of those coffee mug heaters. I just don't know where it is. What should we dig into this morning? What else did I want to talk about? I mean, I'll save the other show, the shadow banning and stuff. Which here's the thing is I don't really even care to talk about it. That it's nice that people understand it's happening, but it's like one of those I can't do anything about it. I don't own the algorithms. I don't own the YouTubes. I don't have anything to do with it. So it's just like whenever one of my videos gets taken down and I go, hey, that's silly, why did you do that? And they're just like, yeah, whatever. Same thing with Instagram, same thing with nah, we're just gonna go ahead and just, you have to know, hey, can I go talk to somebody about that? No. You just take that down? Yeah. It's like there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do about it is really have your own website, I guess. But even at that, then how do you you have to deal with all the marketing aspects. Then you need money, and you need to have, well, not really. You could have the influence enough to have people do it for free, but who's really going to do that, huh? But at that point, then you have to have resources and money to even start doing that. So, yeah, you have a platform like YouTube or something else. And that in and of itself is marketing. But then they just cut off your marketing budget. say, nope, algorithm's not gonna, you're not gonna show up on anybody else's. No one else is gonna find out you make. No one's ever gonna find. The only way that people find up my channel is they have to look up my name specifically, and then and the only way they're finding it is if somebody else tells them. Because it's 3 years now. Working on 3 years, and you can actually see where I was getting between 10 and 20 new subs a day. It was, it was one of these, somewhere in there. And then it did the same thing, but it just jumped down to here where it was like 3 new subs. Nope, lost 3. And that's 3 years now. I have 6,480. That number, I'm going to look up that number. 6,480. 3 years. Sometimes it gets up to 6,496. Sometimes 6,472. But standard thing. There's no movement in any direction whatsoever. It's like somebody that's put them on the in the hospital, put them on the little ventilator and the thing, and just keep right there. What do you do about it? Nothing really. I'm gonna bitch about it. Just not really bitching, just going, huh? That's what it is. And this channel, funny enough. So my other channel, not I talk the same way, say the same kind of stuff. And on this channel, every time I make a video, I get a post that says it's not for so you have to put whether it's for kids or not, and it's already says, I already put on there, it's like it's not, but then they put a restriction on it. My other channel, they don't put a restriction on it. Although I assume it's already done that way. I mean, because the whole channel is restricted. Which in one way is like, I must be doing something right. I must be saying something right. It's pretty funny. It's especially funny from the standpoint of, if people are out here straight up saying the most goofy, ridiculous things, their channels are huge. Nobody says anything about them. People are saying things that are verifiably false, faulty, silly. Like, what do I have to do? Do I have to change the header for my channel to be comedy? Because it's under perhaps education or perhaps something else. Should I put it under comedy and then I'm just across the board, I can say anything I want? Should I just do that? I don't know. Just change the whole thing to comedy and take from it what you might, because the comedy channels, they be saying things that are a little different, that could be perceived as entertainment or perceived as education. Maybe I flip it around. Maybe rather than perceiving me as educational, and then sometimes you get a little humor in here, you perceive it as humor, and maybe you learn something. Maybe we'll do it that way. I don't know. Yeah, like right now, like I continually, like right now, I hit a button on my side and it goes to live chat. And then we're live chatting and I don't see any comments. So I click the thing and it goes to, I look at it and it says, no, it's at top chat. And then it doesn't show up. So I have to hit the live chat button again to see that Kabar said exactly ass backwards. That didn't show up until 2 seconds ago, which I assume has been there for a little bit. This happens all the time with parts of the conversation, even on my side. Not just on the larger who's paying attention on the YouTubes. What I think I might try to do, and you guys could help me, and I'll make a few shows about this, is anybody that has channels that you guys like, get all up in their ear hole and tell them to do a video with me on their channel. So that way, people can come and check out my shit. Because, I mean, for me, just going, hey, cold calling, knocking on doors, be like, hey, let me do a show with you. They don't know who the fuck I am. And it'd be too difficult to be like, hey, what? They're gonna, they got a big enough channel. They're gonna be like, have any time to watch little old me, what would I show them? So if you guys, ever if you know anybody with a channel that you dig or that you mess with, let them know. Do a show with me if they dare. Yeah. Yeah, a little while back, I had people that didn't have channels, or that some people that had channels that would contact me and like do a show. So okay, I would do a show. I've done a show with some people. Don't have it no more. I guess I got stupider, and more boring, or or something. Okay, this will not stand. I need to warm up some water for some coffee. So you guys take yourself a little hiatus. Go ahead and make yourself a snack, some coffee. Go take a go do the duty. Do whatever you need to do. Give me 3 minutes. That way I can warm some water up and make some coffee. I'll be right back. I will see you back here in 3 minutes. Well, hello. Here's what I think I'm gonna do, because this makes more sense. I'm out of milk. I gotta run downstairs and grab some creamers for my coffee. So why don't I just say I'm gonna come back here in 15 minutes and start a new show? Okay? Let's just start a new show in 15 minutes. Come back and see me then. Sound good? Everybody else, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo if you want to. You can donate to this guy. And stay cool. Be weird. Take care of yourself. Because you're the most important person in your journey. You know? So I'll talk to you guys in 15 minutes. Bye.